Well, my question is actually about twofold. Here in the United States, we're faced with a rapidly unfolding healthcare system that we are all witnessing as of today.
Unfolding means?
Meaning it's falling apart.
Collapsing.
Collapsing, and a constant debate here in the United States.
Why is that happening?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but we can talk about that later. But I'm curious because you had mentioned in India that there's a lot of young youth, 30,000 that are, looking for jobs. And we know that in India there's a lot of individuals that are suffering too with public health related issues. In particular, something that's interesting to me is the drug related issues. Here in the United States there's many people that are overdosing on opioids, and I know in India that issue is very, very serious. Morphine, similar drugs like that. I'm wondering what the initiatives are that are in place in India. What initiatives are being done for those young youths that are jobless, that don't have jobs, that might be going to drugs? Are there initiatives, and what is being done for healthcare in India? What is the vision?
Well, we're not in government in India, by the way, so
I know.
What is being done, don't ask me, but we are in government in Punjab, where, are you from Punjab?
North
No.
UP, what's the
North
village?
UP.
Agra.
But we are in government in Punjab, and drugs is a serious problem in Punjab, and we are working on combating that problem in Punjab, setting up rehabilitation clinics, trying to move industry back into Punjab. It had moved out, introducing sports into the system. So we are working on drugs in Punjab, but I won't be able to tell you what the government of India is doing on that front. I'm not involved in running the government of India right now.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Gandhi. Thank you for coming. So my question is this: your role in the country is now as a member of the opposition to critique the government, find flaws in their policies, and so on. But surely there must be something that you admire that the Modi government has done, and that you probably wish that your government did when it had power for 10 years. If there's one such thing, what would it be?
Again, I think the Make in India idea is a good idea. And I think if that idea is implemented well, it's a powerful idea. I would think about it slightly differently, but as a concept, saying that we need to make in India, I think that's a good concept. That's a good direction. How I would implement it would be slightly different. GST, something where we agree with the government. We in fact helped the government pass GST. Again, on the fine tuning, slight differences. We would have preferred a uniform GST. They chose 5 levels. We would have preferred a slow implementation. They chose a faster implementation. So, but I would say on GST broadly, we agree with their direction. I think so. There are spaces where we would agree with them. Yeah. Also, if you look at the economic policy, broadly, between us and the BJP, there is agreement. There's not much difference between our economic policy and theirs, other than the fact that we tend to do things like Narega and do things like right to food. On the liberalization front, on the big business front, we are very similar. We have a central difference with the BJP, which is that we feel that India needs to carry everybody. And we feel that it's dangerous if India doesn't carry everybody. That's the central difference. But there is a reasonable amount of agreement on economic policy.
Actually, I'd like to see the faculty better represented. I see in the front row Professor Bernard Haeckel and visiting distinguished Professor Sunil Kilani. One of them would like to say something.
Oh, you didn't see that.
So, Bernard, would you like to?
Well, first, thank you very much for coming here. I would like you to, think perhaps comparatively with the United States. Some would argue that given the nature of new technologies, given that facts are becoming questionable in terms of how you present them, the rise of the popular charismatic leader, the politics of exclusion, versus that of inclusion. All of that is extremely disruptive to old patterns of governance. And in what way, some might even argue that, what's happening in India or what's happening in the United States is a vernacularization of politics. A new type of person is coming and having greater say than before. Old elites, Anglo-speaking elites, are being displaced. That you represent, in a sense, that displacement. Can you sort of tell us something about actually the failure of politically to this new force, and how does it compare to what you see happening in the United States?
I think the central reason why Mr. Modi arose, and to an extent why Mr. Trump came, is the question of jobs in India and in the United States. There's a large part of our populations that simply do not have jobs and cannot see a future. And so they are feeling pain. And they have supported these type of leaders. The problem is that the record on jobs of these leaders, I don't know Trump, so I won't go there, but certainly our Prime Minister is not good enough. So those same people who got angry with us because we couldn't deliver on those 30,000 jobs are going to get angry with Mr. Modi. The central question is resolving that problem. My main issue with Mr. Modi is that he diverts that issue. And he says that he points the finger somewhere else instead of saying, listen, we have a problem. We need to transform ourselves to compete with the Chinese. And we need to get 30,000 out of 30,000 people, we need to get 10, 15, 20,000 people jobs. So that is the central issue. There's anger building up in India right now. We can sense it. Right? So to me, the challenge is how to solve that job problem in a democratic environment. That's the challenge. And frankly, the Congress party was unable to do it. That's why Mr. Modi came. But Mr. Modi is unable to do it. And it is a deeper problem, so we have to first accept it as a problem. And then we have to unite and try to work at solving it. Right now, nobody is even accepting it as a problem. The discussion is about 9% growth, 8% growth, 7% growth. The discussion is not about how many of your millions of people that are moving you've given a job to. That's not the discussion. That needs to be the discussion.
Now, it's 6:30. We are now at the point at which we really have to take him elsewhere on campus, and so I apologize. I'm going to ask of you three things. The last will be a round of applause, but hold that for a second. I'm going to ask that you allow us to take him out rapidly to the building. This is important just for...
I can't say hello to him.
Well,
No?
it depends.
Okay.
That wasn't the plan. On the other hand, it just will...
Okay, nice. 5 minutes.
I'm going to ask, because... all right.
Unless I disturb.
You can do it? Okay, all right. Okay, so... all right. But even then, what we don't want is a big crush at the lift.
Okay, I will.
Right? Okay, so that's item one. Item two, I believe there was some interest on the part of Mr. Hooda, and I guess whether some people wanted to offer their impressions of the meeting. There was some Ms. Tavishi Alaga somewhere in the audience. I don't know if she's still interested in interviewing some people. After this, so if some people want to talk to her, she's going to be kind of putting together a report on this event. If you would like to talk to her, please do, and she would be delighted to get
anybody who speak to her, she'll be outside.
Okay, so first a round of applause, then he gets to say hello, and then very.
So how are things? Can I
You
speak a little bit?
can, you can.
Yeah. Am I allowed to? How are things on campus? What is going on?
Recruiting season.
What's the big recruiting season?
We're all trying to get jobs, Mr. Gandhi.
So what is the big issue on campus other than recruiting?
Jobs.
Jobs everywhere.
Trade deflation.
What else?
Great
inflation.
Trade deflation.
So how do you view the rise of China?
It's impressive.
and what do you feel? What do you feel about it?
I mean, I think it presents.
It's a bubble.
Because most of their figures are self-reported. They still haven't allowed any of the international regulatory agencies into their systems. So for all we know, they could be lying about literally everything.
Right.
So, and if you go to Beijing, then you see the amount of pollution just from the so they have made their country into this kind of an urban manufacturing center. And I think neither the amount of resources they have, nor the amount of people they have, nor their cities can hold that for much longer.
Right.
And the population is aging due to the one-child policy, and their sudden abrupt attempts to recover it will not go very well. So the only reason that it's still holding out in a country like China is because they have that authoritarian control. It will not hold out in anything else.
So you think they'll have a slowdown, or you think they'll have a collapse?
I think it will be a slowdown. It could be a collapse if they make abrupt moves like one fine day they had just randomly revalued the revenue-based thinking whole stock markets across the world. If they keep doing things like that, then they may have a collapse. But if they continue down this path, there are people literally they will only slow down.
What's concerning about China, actually more than financial, is that they actually have very powerful cyber warfare. And they actually have the Great Cannon, which we are learning about here at Princeton.
The Great?
The Great Cannon,
Right.
which they actually would take down a lot of technology from their citizens. And we're actually learning about that here at Princeton. So they have a lot more than just economics.
That's what you were saying?
Yeah, so in a slightly different direction, I think, we're failing to recognize that India actually has a huge advantage in certain industries over China. And in fact, over the last maybe 5 or 6 years, industries like specialty chemicals, many ancillary industries like auto ancillaries have come up. And I think, if we had to think of the future of India, leveraging these kind of competitive advantages are going to help us, rise up.
I mean, actually, I'd take a disagreement. I think India's great strength is that its political system is a lot more flexible because it allows for, people to express their opinions and change the direction like India's going the whole time. And I think that's the strength that India will have going forward, is that its development is not going to, disrupt traditional social structures to the same amount that it does in China. And I think that's the strength that they have in India.
So then you feel that inclusion is an important thing in India?
Yeah, I feel like that's its strength, its advantage it has over China is that, people participate the entire time, every step of the way. India's people have been part of the discussion, and in China that's just simply not the case. As you mentioned many times, it's a centrally controlled process of migration.
And where are you from?
The United States.
Have you been to India?
Yes, sir. Yeah, many times.
Where all have you been?
I lived in on Princeton's Great Gap Year program. I lived in Varanasi, actually.
You lived in Varanasi.
Speaking
So how did you feel about it? How did you feel? How was it different than the United States?
I mean,
Was it different than the United States?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it's a really big cliche, but it's the color.
Color.
Yeah. India's bursting in color, and I love that every step.
But when we Indian people come to the United States, we are like, where have all the people gone? We're like, why is this place empty? Yeah, you want to say something?
Mr. Gandhi, how can we strengthen the judiciary in India? How can we increase the number? Do you have a vision for increasing the number of courts?
Yeah, I think, again, as I said before, decentralizing and creating an infrastructure that operates at the periphery is something that is very important in India. And I think you should. Are you a lawyer?
No.
No. I think you should come back and help us with that. Give us some of your ideas.
And then I have a question. right now my MLA is from Congress. He moved to like TRS. My MP.
You're from Telangana?
Yes.
What's his name?
Bhaskar Rao. My MP is from Congress. He moved to TRS. And then, do we have a vision of having a strict law that doesn't happen?
You know why that happens, right? You know why he moved.
Yeah, but how can we stop it?
Well, I mean, we are struggling. Our guys are moving because money. Yeah, money. Yeah. But those are some of the problems we face. But look, I used to sit in the Parliament House, and I used to watch all these fights going on. And one day I saw these MPs from Afghanistan sitting in the visitors gallery. And I was, they told me that some MPs have come, so I was looking. And I was thinking to myself, these people have come. And look what we are doing. We're shouting and screaming, and we weren't government that time, BJP was shouting, sorry. But we shout now. So I was like, why can't, at least when they're here, why can't this place be ordered? Right? A sense of embarrassment maybe. And then they came down and they said, oh, Mr. Gandhi, we want to come and see you. So they came to my office. And I said to them, I'm sorry that, you were sitting in the visitors gallery and we were not having a nice debate. We were sort of having an argument. And one of the MPs started crying, right? So I was a bit surprised. I was, what's this? And she started to cry. I said, what? What's happened? And she said, Mr. Gandhi, you don't understand the value of that building that you have. In my country, the arguments that you have in that building are carried out with guns. Right? So I'm very proud. People say to me, oh, China versus India, they're growing slightly faster. I'm very proud about our democratic structure. I know that it doesn't work as well as it should work, and one should try and make it work better. But it's something I inherently believe in. And I believe in the ability of the Indian people to have a conversation and move themselves forward. And I'm very proud of that. And I think all of you should be very proud of that. And for you, I feel the same way for the United States. You've shown a lot of countries direction. And I think that's a very powerful thing. So thank you very much, and all the best. And if you're in Delhi anytime, come and see me.
Mr. Gandhi, can we have a picture?
See, this is the best time in your life. Let me tell you.